So are people here? This is my first live stream, so I'm not sure what's going on. Let's see. I mean, hi. So let's see if anyone is here. If anyone is here, can they see me and hear me? Please excuse me, this is my first time doing this. So I'm seeing what the buttons are doing. We do have someone. Hi, Anitra. How are you doing today? Okay. Okay, I think I was clicking on wasn't actually a button. It was an icon of some sort. So who else is here? Got a few topics to discuss once we get a few more people in here. Good. Glad you're doing good. Let's see more stuff here. I'm sure this is super exciting to watch me look off while I click on things. And Brianna's here. Hi. We get a few people in here. That's cool. Hi, Dan. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, I thought I had to have 1,000 subscribers to do a live stream, but that's only for using my phone to do a mobile one. So it turns out I could have been doing them this entire time. So that's what I get for not reading things properly. So I'd like to do this on Sundays because I was going to do some other videos today, the drill press one, and I kind of lifted some things yesterday I should not have lifted. So we're taking it easy tonight. The lathe I picked up, which I'll do a video on tomorrow, well, the parts of it, it's all disassembled. So I had to manhandle the carriage, and apron, and the chucks and all that myself. So shouldn't have done that. Should not have done that. I've got another 4 or 5 videos lined up for this week. Update on the phase converter because the last part I need for it, the big part, I'm going to make 480 volt for some of the machines. So my uncle snagged me a transformer, so it'll be here soon. Because the big grinder, I think I'll need the 440 volt to get started with my 15 horse motor because it has a, does it have? It has a 5 horse, but the inrush amps are incredible on it. It takes a lot of momentum to get those stones going. And also, I didn't know the live stream would work, so I only thought about putting it up today. So there wasn't a lot of notice. So I think at like 1 o'clock this afternoon, I scheduled it. So yeah, kind of like to make this the Sunday thing. Move the restoration videos to Monday. I got a guy contact me today about 6 more pieces of equipment. And a lot of them are restoration projects. But there's a turret lathe and a big 2-wheel bandsaw. That'd be cool. A couple hours away, but it's going good. Sorry if I mispronounce your screen name there. Killing Gia. How's it going with you? So yeah, then tomorrow, once my back's rested a bit, I'll unload all the parts to the big lathe, which you guys are sitting on right now. There's the aprons pretty much together, but that's it. All the quick change stuff, all the taper attachment, all the rest of the apron is in every part it could possibly be in. So, and my smaller Reed Prentice is about, everything looks pretty much the same on the carriage end. So I'm hoping if I get stumped, I haven't been able to find a manual parts breakdown. So there's going to be a lot of fitting and hopefully not disassembly and reassemble because I forget a part. There's probably 100 parts, especially a lot of little all kinds of various length cap screws, which is going to be irritating to find. So that'll be a couple days. And I need to get once I get the carriage on it, moving this will be a pain. Coincidentally, the last 2 lathes that were close to me were Reed Prentices. So that's how I ended up with them. And I did a lot of research on them. I hate to, you get on the practical machinist sites and all that. If you don't have an American lathe or a Monarch or something like that, they dog on everything. Oh, don't get a reprentice, the gears are soft and stuff like that. No, if you, for most people use them for, you're not going to damage them. So the more I look at them, the more I like them. They're most of the lathes I've had have been late 80s Taiwanese or horribly or ancient, beyond ancient conehead pulley lathes. So I like them. Yeah, the other lathe, they seem a lot, they're really sturdy compared to, of course, they're a big step up from like a older South Bend or Logan and stuff like that. I have had a couple Logans. And also because there's a naval base in the state I'm in, on the west side of the state, Reed Prentice lathes show up a lot for sale. And so if ever like need a bunch of parts, I could buy a scrapped out one for pretty cheap. But I got pretty lucky with the ones I got. Yep, very, very good lathe to learn on. Did you get one with the flat belt, or did you get one with the V belts on it? The ones with the flat belts are really good to learn on because it's almost like a clutch if you were to crash it. So. Not familiar with that lathe brand. I got a buddy that has a couple Grizzly lathes, and they're not bad. One of them's that tabletop one everyone has, the 12 or 13 by 36 or something like that. He makes a lot of parts on that lathe. Yeah, it's nice when you can find the V-belt Craftsman's. Makes it easier. I think all the older Craftsman's I had were flat belt. In my part of the country, or in my part of the state, small lathes never show up. So. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I'll check that lathe brand out. Always like learning about new manufacturers. Well, old manufacturers that are new to me. Yeah, the phase converter stuff's coming really soon. I found someone turned me on to a site that sells kits. You basically supply your own motor and your own enclosure, and you pick the horsepower, and it's all the capacitors, the timer, the voltage sensor, the contactor, and all the wire and everything. That way, because I was going to do it another way, but this way, if the site's good and the parts work for me, it's really cost effective. It was $130 for everything shipped. And the way I was doing it before, I'd had to order from 2 or 3 different sites, and once you include shipping in that, it was over that. So we'll get that guy going soon. Thank you, Mr. Farmall, 1941. Yes, the Kent Mill project is going to be soon, very soon. I actually drained the oil and stuff in that transmission for it the other day and replaced it. I'm just figuring out where it's going to land in the shop so I can build the drive for it. Damaged rack. Is it removable on that lathe? I know some of those are almost interchangeable, I thought. I've actually, if it's segment, I don't know how big it is. Some of the racks are segmented, and I've seen people that have a wore out front section, they'll swap it with the one from the back to get some parts that are less wore up front in the sweet spot. Oh, link for the phase converter. I will find that in. I'll find that site and add it to the video in the description. Oh, okay. It was already flipped. Does it have a lot of bed wear on it? That's good. So another person messaged me today. I keep an ad running on Craigslist for looking for used machines. There's a unknown brand turret lathe that he can't find the turret attachment for, but it's big. 2-wheel big bandsaw, post leg vise, and an ancient punch press that's been converted over to a V-belt. So I might be picking those up soon. I don't know. The lathe only wanted $120 for. But if it's missing everything but the headstock, I don't know. I like the Pacific Northwest as well, living here, but I prefer the dry side of the state. I'm not a fan of the west side. Yeah, the gears came in for the Hypermech, so I'll be finishing that soon once I move it. Let's look around. The forehead drill press base and the heads to that, I don't know. I might get rid of them. My shop is filling up quick, and well, with the transformer to make the 480 volt, it makes that project a little more doable because the motors are not dual voltage; they're only 480 volt or 440 for them. So we'll see about that. That is back burner. I haven't been posting a lot of my jobs I've been doing because I've been getting the shop set up, reorganized, laid out better. Still been doing a lot of mower repair and commercial mower stuff. And I don't get a lot of machining jobs in the winter. I really get hammered in March when everyone starts pulling out their equipment for the year. Then I'm slammed for a good 2-3 months typically, pumps and in bells and stuff like that. But I've purposely told people I'm taking a month or so to get stuff straightened out. So that way I can provide better and quicker service as well as upgrade my capacity. So that's why you haven't been seeing a lot of videos like that. Or if it's something super repetitive, how many times do you guys want to watch me make bushings? Oh, you're stationed at Fort Lewis. I used to go to a lot of the government liquidation auctions there back in the day. Bought a couple 2.5 ton trucks and a bunch of silly stuff I should have never bought. I don't get a lot of random mower repair. I'm in with a couple lawn care commercial companies that thankfully have do get a little bit of snow here, but in the winter, some of them have me almost completely tear down their equipment and replace all the bushings and all that. Most of them running big Skags and Toros and Ferris mowers. So they're things I can, they're not rush jobs. I can tinker on them. I also rebuild. A lot of places don't rebuild small engines anymore. So I rebuild a lot of Toros and Kawasaki's and stuff. I like to actually get more into that, and I'll start showing a lot more of that. Hey, Hilltop Machine Works. That's cool. Yeah, some of the cheaper machines, it's almost not worth, you tell customers the stuff's not worth working on, but they bring you a $60 2-cycle blower from Walmart and let's go buy a new one. Yeah, I do a lot of commercial ZTRs. A couple of the really big John Deere hydraulic park masters and stuff like that. I'm also going to try to get my sandblasting cabinet going. I was messing with it the other day, hooking up the fan to it. I'm going to put it on wheels. The guy I bought the Big Reed Prentice from, his is mounted on wheels with a mobile setup. I really like that. That'd be a handy thing to have mobile, as well as the big grinder is going to be. I went and bought the casters for it today, and some steel, so that thing will be able to roll around. The machine stuff is easy to get hooked on. Problem is, once you start buying some of it, you have to have more of it. So. I'm getting pretty happy with the equipment I have now, though. I say that until I see something that I have to have. Most of the stuff I'll be getting from now on is big. I have a buddy with a huge radial arm drill. It's on two semi flatbeds. And I was thinking about putting it in my driveway. It won't fit in my shop. It's too tall. But the motors are huge, and I don't have the true 3-phase to run it, and it'd be in my driveway. So. Yeah, depending where you are, lathes, they can be far away. They don't show up in my part of the state very often at all. They show up at auctions sometimes, but they're trashed. There's been quite a few at the scrapyard lately, but I don't know about buying them out of the scrapyard. Though I am going to start taking all the tailstocks, all the data plates, and all the gears off of them. That way, if someone needs parts for a lathe, maybe I can help them out. And the guys don't charge much for that stuff. Well, tailstocks probably. Well, I need a tailstock for the other Reed Prentice anyway, so. With a mill help for a small engine repair? Actually, because it has a sturdier drive, if you will, you can actually, for a small engine, get away with a boring head, cleaning up cylinders. You can do it with the vertical mill too. You never really have to flatten the deck on a mower engine. Of course, it's easy once, you can have a lot of machining into a mower block before you just should have bought a new block. But it will come in handy. It can be a money pit. You can spend the machines aren't that much. The big lathe here, I paid $800 for, but you'll spend that every 3-4 months on stuff for it, especially cutting tools. But I use a lot of high-speed steel. With a slower turning lathe like this one and the LeBlanc and all that, carbide's not the best. And I have a lot of high-speed steel, and I don't try to use that. I haven't done many resurfacing cylinder heads on small engines. I've done it for a couple cars. I don't do a lot of automotive work. I used to do. Yeah, we're dealing with everything as well as people can deal with stuff. It's definitely slowed down random customers a lot. What machine is next on my list? I want to get a bigger vertical bandsaw. I had one in my much, much earlier videos. I should have never got rid of it. I'd really like a big vertical metal cutting bandsaw. And a universal mill. That would be handy. Yeah, I've done that with cylinder heads too, or a plate of glass. I do a lot of valve jobs. Tell you what, if people find out you grind valves for small engines, I got one of those. Oh, it's a Sioux. That thing has beyond paid for itself. I have a buddy with a shaper that he's willing to sell me. It's gigantic. I want to say it's a 32-inch shaper. The end support for the table is cast iron and it's shattered. It's still usable. It's got a huge, huge bowl gear in it. He has a couple other machines I might get. He has a big Axelson lathe. I've always been a fan of Axelsons. I know they have the big problem with them is the rubber connection boot between the motor and the drive. But honestly, a shaper would be something that I would have. Just look, I'm cool like everyone else now. So I wouldn't do anything to just if I had a bigger space, yeah. I mean, I guess I could put it on the back porch next to the barbecue. I'm not afraid to put equipment on my back porch if it comes to that. How many hours a week? It depends. Being a job shop and mostly from word of mouth, I have enough customers that when farming starts, I'm slammed. When mowing season starts, I'm slammed. And then it kind of slows down in the summer. Then at the end, when the equipment goes back in the field, people want their pumps serviced, their motors, bearings replaced, their machines checked out at the end of the year, then I'm slammed again. I stay as busy most of the time as I would like to be, having a full-time job besides this. So it's actually been a really, really good balance. I got really consistent customer base. So, I mean, they'll bring their dryer to me to have me replace the belt on it and stuff like that. So. It's to the point where if I got twice as busy, I don't know if I'd be able to do it all on the side like I do. Yeah, a lot of times I have to get stuff going now. Some of that, so I've been hammering on these lathes so much, and you get that converter going. I shouldn't have sold the LeBlanc for like 2 weeks after till I did. So I could have finished some jobs I had in the queue, but that's what happens when you count on having another lathe, and that one fell through, so I had to get these ones, and I'm completely happy with them. That's how that goes. Yeah, consistent customers are the best. And some of them have me change the oil in their cars still. So. I also need to get a TIG welder. I have a lot of customers ask me about TIG welding. I've done it before. I had what are those yellow ones, the ATPs? Those ones that are like $800. I had one of those a while ago. Shouldn't have got rid of it. I've been loving that Miller dial arc. Yeah, lathes do take up space. A 14 by 40 or 15 by 50 lathe is a good size shop lathe. Most of the work I do is on, like the Taita was a 1440. That handled a vast majority of the work I did. Of course, the bigger ones are nice, and I would kind of stay away. I'm kind of on the fence about the big ancient ones. You can get them cheap. Big 22-inch swing, like 6-foot bed lays, cone pulleys. You can do a lot of work on them. Some of them really wear. At the end of the day, like that Hindi I had, you knew you were working that lathe all day. You were actually sore from cranking the carriage over. Yes, when you need a lathe, you need a lathe. I'd like to get some bigger boring heads for my mill once it's going. I ordered the head tilting gear for the Acer head for the kit milling machine. So hopefully the never-ending saga of that machine will be over soon. I'm tired of going to my buddy's house and using his. Because his is wore out. So you gotta make a lot of adjustments. Yeah, it'll be probably 3 videos this week at least on the big lathe. One tomorrow of all the doodads that came with it. And then I got to lay out all the parts. I haven't searched a long time finding a detailed breakdown of it. So hopefully a lot of it's self-explanatory. I haven't had one of these apart before. Don't see much of the family. No, I try to keep them out of that. It's actually one of the biggest reasons I do these videos is my kids they don't live with me. So my boys and stuff growing up, they don't have the shop time, the work with dad in the shop time that I think they would like. So this is kind of a way where they can see what I'm doing in the shop without actually being here. So. Yeah, I need to check vintage machinery. And I thought the other Reed Prentice came with a book, but I just can't find it. I mean, the parts should, hopefully, for the most part, the guy said it should only go on one way. So there seems an awful lot of parts for just being the taper attachment and the gearbox for the power feeds. There's an awful lot of parts. He made a custom arbor tool for cutting the sight glasses in these. So it makes it really easy and quick. So I'll be able to, if people need sight glasses for their Reed Prentices, I'll be able to send those out to people. You mean Babbitt bearings there, Rick? I would love to have some DROs on my machines, but it's one of those things where I think I would need to have it on every one. Just because I'm so used to the manual machines. It's one of those things where I would unwittingly look up, thinking I'm looking at the screen while I'm cranking the handle. Forget that machine doesn't have one. It's also one of the reasons I got rid of the LeBlanc. The LeBlanc was a good lathe, served me very well, but it had more wear in the sweet spot than the other machines did. So when you go from the Tita was a tight machine. So when you go between two lathes like that, you gotta, because I was mostly using the Tita, you always have to remember, I need to compensate a bit on this machine, because it was just about that war. So having machines that are the same, condition-wise is helpful. Also, having ones that are read the radius or diameter on I used to write it on them, on your crossfeed, can prevent headaches. Now I think all my lathes are on the same page. Yeah, the only machine I have with Babbitt bearings is the Camelback drill press at the moment. And I did re-pour the bearings for it. I don't know. I didn't do it the way most people do. I melted the old Babbitt out, and it had wore pretty substantially. So I added some lead, and I forget what else I added. So I kind of home brewed my own Babbitt to make up the difference I needed. But it works. It doesn't get hot. It hums right along. My favorite YouTubers, Brian Block. I watch every video he puts out. I watch Mr. Pete, like I'm sure all you guys do. I used to watch, what's his name? Mike Reggae. I really like the stuff he did. I'll tell you what happens when people start sending you negative stuff and trolling you all the time. You can really beat someone down. He caught a lot of flack from stuff that people that never showed anyone anything. You kind of let that get to him a bit. But I'd love for him to start putting out videos again. Shane from Blind Dog Blades, watched a lot of his stuff. Used to watch a lot of A-Bomb and Vintage Machinery guy, Keith Rucker, but I don't hardly watch their stuff anymore. And I watch Keith Thinner too. And then Hilltop Machine Shop, I watch his videos. He's here. I believe he's still in the chat somewhere. I like to watch a lot of the smaller channels. Yeah, Mr. Pete's videos help a lot of people. I like his auction videos. Yeah, it'd be kind of cool to meet some of them. Also, yeah, I heard he was changing the channels or the website he was going to go through instead of YouTube. I don't know if he's still going to put them on YouTube as well. That'll probably be a video this coming week. Look over at it. My plasma cutter. I was using it the other day, and man, did it shock me. So I need to do some troubleshooting with the wires on the handle. Thinking of that, coming up with what I need to do this week. Add it to the list. Yeah, there is something to learn from everyone. That's a good thing about machining is, and fabricating in general, everyone has their own way to do it. So I'm always looking to find a way to do something faster or better, save some time here and there. I certainly do not know everything. I hope people gain something from the videos I make. I know they're not the best videos ever. So I get a lot of messages, probably 2 or 3 a week, helping people wire their drum switches. So that is super cool. And just wiring your machines in general. This old Tony, I've seen quite a few of his videos. I don't know if I'm subscribed to him, so maybe they just don't pop up. Yeah, I don't know why I don't watch a lot of his. I go through phases where I watch certain people. Mostly it's the work they do and the stuff they do. If it's relatable to what I do, then that catches my interest a little more. And then I'm kind of the root for the everyday man when it comes to some videos. When people start getting heavily sponsored and getting, working on, stuff like that, then I'm kind of the guy in his working in his shop kind of thing. That's why I like Brian Block. Very, very, very underappreciated YouTube channel, in my humble opinion. Oh, attending a bash? I think that'd be cool. I'd like to go to those big swap meets that are at some of those way over east. Problem is, for a lot of that I live in Washington State, so I'm very far away from that stuff. AVE, I used to watch his channel a lot. I don't watch once he got super big and the new shop. A lot of it's not really relatable to the stuff I'm interested in anymore. I love his tool reviews and his older electronic stuff, as far as understanding, the capacitors and stuff and all that. That stuff's interesting. Again, I'm more of a guy or girl just working away in their shop. And I like a lot of A-Bomb's earlier videos. Definitely worked on some big things, and that's cool to watch when he was working for Motion Industries or whatever it was. Yeah, hopefully get going, everything unloaded for the big read tomorrow. Oh, I need to get it out of my van anyway. My van is sitting at a distinct incline. There's so much weight in the back of it. I'm going to crudely start my 15 horse rotary phase converter to test the motor in this. It's brand new. It came back from a shop. It still has a rebuild tag on it and stuff like that, but just to make sure. It's also a 50 cycle motor, not 60. It's a 7.5 horse, 380 volt, 50 cycle motor. So, which won't be a problem to run on 60 hertz. To actually gain a little bit. I'll probably do a video on that, on running 50 hertz stuff on 60 hertz, if that is interesting to someone. Hey, it's Worthwhile. How's it going today? We got like 15 people in here. That's literally 5 times what I thought I would get today. Yeah, today I actually moved the big horizontal mill more into its final place. It still has a bit to go. It's like a game of Tetris in here somewhere. Especially with moving the big lathe, which you guys are sitting on. So I'm counting like docking a cruise ship in a small harbor. It's going to have to swing and make its way around completely. I don't have to put it on those skates. Thankfully, I have a set of skates to put it on. Yes, I'll be leaving the 3-phase motor in this reed. I put a 3-phase 5 horse in the smaller reed. And I'll keep the 7.5 horse in the Hypermac. But I am going to run them 480 volt. I'm getting a transformer here to my house soon because I need it for starting the big 24-inch grinder. The inrush amps at 240 are substantial. But if you get the motor, spin it with your hand, and get it going a little bit, it helps a lot. But it is a light dimmer when it kicks on. Am I ever going to get a CNC? I don't know. I've thought about some projects that'd be nice. Someone I knew was selling one of those Grizzly milling machines, the smaller one that was all set up. But I think if I'm going to get into it, I want a machine. But around here at least, the ones that show up used are beyond wore out. And I don't know a lot of computer stuff. I'm not a real computer person. So if there's anything really electrical with it, I would need much assistance with that. But if I came across a known working one, yeah. I also don't know how 3-phase with the stepper motors and stuff, because I'm almost always going to have a phase converter going with an unbalanced third leg. I don't know. I haven't done enough research to see how that affects stepper motors and stuff like that. I was looking at a CNC plasma cutting table, because that would be handy. That is something I would use a lot. I do a lot of adapters for a diesel truck shop. When he sends them out to get cut, then he sends them to me, and I precision drill the holes and tap them so I could get, one more piece of the pie if I could cut the plates out myself. But they're 1 inch thick. So, and I can deal with the plasma cutter, but that's a lot of cleanup stuff. And yeah, 3-phase or a CNC plasma table would be cool. Yeah, I've heard about running it through a VFD to clean up the leg. And I've also heard, because I'm going to be running a 15 horse, that the bigger the size of the motor compared to the smaller, it doesn't matter as much. Again, I just need to do more research on the subject. Then I don't know if I would need a 15. Do I need a 15 horse rated VFD? Well, actually, no. I'd probably just run it after that. I don't know how VFDs are affected by an incoming wild third leg. Something else I would need to research. Yeah, 12x16 shop room would be gone quickly. Yeah, I don't do a lot of parts runs. What I would like to do is be able to make repair parts for people's machines. Gears and whatnot. I mean, I already make gears for people. Once I get my dividing head back from the person I loaned it to. I will have to look into that. If you could email me his contact info. The balanced one would be nice. Also, if I could supply the motor to cut the cost down a little bit, I have tons of motors. I used to make some custom manifolds for racing mowers. That used to be big in this area at a few of the small town summer fairs. Used to put people bring in their riding mowers, and I put stacks on them and stuff like that. It was kind of cool. Yeah, the ability to make a repair parts for people. I get a kick out of helping people fix their machines and wire their machines for some reason. Hence, I do all those drum switch things. I've probably helped over 100 people with that so far, so very cool. If you use the box technique that I use, where you poke the holes in it, number everything, and cut the wires, it's night and day. It's a very excellent visual aid. I will enter that information so I do not lose that erstwhile, and that is most appreciated. Okay. I'll definitely check that out. And then I have a separate 200 amp service for my shop. So again, the neighbor next to me has 3-phase power in his backyard. There's just not enough room in the, I don't know how the electrical people do their thing in that box, but there's not enough room for them to run it over to my place unless he abandons the service. The service has not been used for like 15 years. It's just a pedestal. It used to be an irrigation district pump back there. I talked to the new homeowner, and I don't know if he understood what I was thinking. He almost thought I was like asking for the power for his house. So maybe I can get that over here. The utility person was in my house a while ago, and they said something about getting nuisance calls. Probably not from me, but about dimming the neighbor's lights when some things come on in here. Oh, some history on the small reed. Okay. I don't know. I had a buddy who was a machinist in the Navy. He came over, and he works on my machines. He does his own thing. So we were looking at it. I don't know if it's grasping at straws because I want it to be that. And I'll show it in a video. On the electrical plate of the reed, there's a purchase order from the Navy. And it has a ship purchase number or ID on it. And it says BB60. Okay, that's the USS Alabama. Now, the lathe was made the same year as that ship was built, and that lathe was made in that area. I don't know if it's specific to all reed lathes, but they have double holes. Everywhere there's a leveling foot bolt, there's another hole. And he told me that's because once they level the bed, obviously you can't level something in a boat. Once you level the bed, then the other two holes is where they anchored it to the deck of the ship. And it's also, the plate is for the same voltage that the battleships ran at. That lathe came out of the Bremerton shipyard, where they used to auction off a lot of the machinery they pulled off of ships. So, and it was purchased a year after that ship went to Bremerton to be decommissioned and all that. So it might be wishful thinking, but there's odds there. So, and also has a very, very, very thick paint coat on it. A really thick gray paint. Far thicker than the reed I just got, which doesn't have any Navy tags or anything on it. And also the forehead drill press has a very, very thick coat of paint on it too. So that's also a Navy piece of equipment. So yeah, still trying to find a way to more positively identify it. So that'd be super cool. I actually don't watch much football. I pay attention to it when I'm in a fantasy football league. I just don't watch much of it. Sundays are is one of my busiest shop days. Yeah, I actually haven't looked at what the three-phase power would be here. It'd be nice not to have to run a fit. I'm sure it might be more cost-effective to run the idler and the machinery. There's a bigger lathe I've passed on forever because it has a 20-horse motor. But I'm not going to run a 40-horse. Well, that's not saying I wouldn't run a 4-horse phase converter if I had one. Yeah, thanks for joining us here. Yeah, I'd like to do this every Sunday at 5. I think I'll just schedule one, and whoever shows up, and whoever doesn't. I used to do the machine restoration days, but I'm going to move those to Mondays. Sundays are just my shop day, and by the afternoon, I'm so tired of moving stuff and working on stuff. I just want to sit and talk. 100 amps run up on space. Oh, I would have thought that would have been more. Maybe I will. I'll probably look into getting the biggest phase converter I can afford, because then I can justify purchasing larger machines. Not that I need to justify that to myself, but it's always cool because big machines do show up on the west side of the state pretty often. I have a couple brand new 10-horse motors too. I'd like to put to use. 3-phase motors are so dirt cheap at the auctions here. A couple years ago, I live not far from a nuclear station. I bought a brand new in the crate 200 horse horizontal shaft, horizontal based Baldor motor for $120. I flipped it and did well. Yeah, when it's far away, it adds up quick. When I had the shop in Benton City, it was 6 houses down, 3-phase to my house, and that's about what they wanted. And that was a rural association, a co-op. So typically they're a little cheaper too. But it was rural, so they had to cut through like a ditch, go over a ditch and all this other stuff. I live in a heavily residential area right now. Again, coincidentally, it's just on the other side of the fence. So one day, actually, the power company said, funny, I called them to ask about it when I moved here. And the first thing they said is, why do you want 3-phase power in a residential area? So, don't want them snooping around. No. But all the utilities are in my backyard. The power box and all that, the big junction box. So one of their field guys was out here replacing my meter. He did say it's 15 feet from the back of my shop is the power box. $3,000 for a 40 horse is awesome. That 40 horse. That would be nice. That'd be super nice. Yeah, I will 100% check that out. They could run some big stuff then. Not that big radial arm drill. It has a 40. I think it has a 40 horse motor on it. It's gigantic. He has drill bits up to I think 6-inch for it. I've heard 3-phase is very common in other countries, just like in the house. That'd be cool if it was in every house here, for sure. Yeah, it's outrageous what they want sometimes. Thankfully, I didn't end up paying for it, but the last place I was at, it could all be overhead. Didn't have to go underground. Because then I would have had to, if I did that, they couldn't bring in the same poles for some reason, so they wanted me to give them an easement and all this other stuff. That's even better. That's an amazing price. And is that all push button ready to go like the American Rotary ones are? That's a screaming deal. So yeah, I'll be checking that out. Oh yeah. I would definitely go with the switch instead of the breaker. That's why I have it now, and it when other people are in here when I start, I kind of like to not have them see me open the breaker and flip it to turn stuff on. It's bad enough when I was starting the other one with a rope. I actually had a buddy who starts his face converter. He wraps a rope around it with a weight through a pulley mounted in one of the joists in his shop. So he winds it up, and the weight's kind of like the one on my big press. Pulls it up another rope, and it drops through the pulley, pulls the pulley up. Because he has a big pulley that's wedged on his, and that's the only way to get it spinning fast enough to get it going. So the remote switching, if I understand it right, I could switch it through hook something through each of my machines so I could turn it on through them, because that would be handy. Yeah, three-phase should be more common. I wish it was. And again, that's my area. There wasn't a lot of manufacturing in this part of the state. At least around where I am is all farmland. So just the infrastructure is not there. Oh, okay, as well. Thank you, Earl. I will definitely keep them coming as long as you guys keep watching them. I'm actually looking at actual legitimate cameras too, not through the phone. Every video I filmed has been with this. I actually went to a store and specifically looked at cameras just for this. So. Yeah, that'd be super nice. To be able to do switching on and off like that. Also, a question to the 10 of you that are here. I hope you guys are liking the day and what I'm doing that day format I've been doing. Just every day I come out in the shop and do something. I go, hey, show you guys what I'm doing that day. That's out in the field. I've been trying to film more stuff in the field, but it's just so hectic. I should get one of those. If I get fancy to-do camera, maybe one of those chest mount things. I don't know how they move and all that. I don't know if I would wear one of those head-mounted ones. Of course, a lot of the stuff I'm doing in the field is welding, so I have a helmet on. So. Instagram, okay. I think I know what that is. Is it some kind of chatting thing? Again, for only being 38 years old, I was never into computers and that stuff much. I don't have a Facebook or any of that kind of stuff. Oh, it's for pictures and videos. Huh. That'd be cool. That'd be cool to see what be able to see what more people are doing. Perhaps I'll have to look into it. Is it a phone app thing? I assume, because aren't most things phone app things now? Oh, okay. Computer would be cool. A load switch controller. Not familiar with what that is. You see any? Erstwhile. Do you run your machines at 240 off that? I'd probably still run it through my transformer to 440 or 480. Oh, for the phase converter. I run mine into a breaker panel, an old three-phase breaker panel. In the past, I ran it to an outlet, a couple outlets. Most of mine's at 240. The only reason I was going to 480 was the big grinder, and it gets the amps down. And the forehead drill press, if I ever get back to that project, I don't know. VFDs, they're expensive for the size I would want. I used to use them when all my machines had smaller engines or motors. I had a VFD that ran, I wired an outlet in right below it, and it had presets. And I'd just plug in what machine I was using, and you could hit the preset to change the motor torque and all that stuff. Now everything I have is getting bigger motors. I know they're handy for a lot of things. I like VFDs. A lot of it's a cost thing too for me. I have so many motors for the powering machines I have. And then, like, if I'm in the middle of a job and my phase converter motor, goes on me, I can spend the 10 minutes, wire up a new one, and be back on my feet. But no, VFDs are super handy. The one I had that was programmable was a very nice unit. It actually had a remote control too. The remote control didn't really work all that well, but it had like 4 or 5 settings. So my smaller lathes and the milling machines, it was really nice for that. But then, and it was a name brand one. I don't remember. It's one of the black ones. It just quit working one day. I was in the middle of a job and it just went black. And I don't know how to open those things up and look at them and see what's in there. That is beyond my pay grade. So that's the biggest reason about the rotary phase converters, is I just have so many motors. I can just, there's no out-of-pocket expense for doing it. But if I can get a balanced one, like Earthwile was talking, that's a way to go. Because even if the motor went, you could, in theory, replace it with a like motor. Get away with it. So I've never had a VFD motor. Well, never had a VFD motor go on, or a phase converter motor go on me that wasn't caused by I never wore one out or burned one out. Mice got in one, and something was unfortunately dropped onto another one. So. I'm really like, when I get these machines set up that I have now, really like to have all the wiring up above. So I'm tired of tripping over stuff. Plus, rolling the cart over stuff is a pain. A 10-year warranty. That is awesome. Everything you say about those converters as well makes me want one more and more. I had machines that had some static converters on them, and they worked fine. They were smaller motors. One was a 3 horsepower. That vertical bandsaw I had when I first got it had a static converter on it. And the motor got hot on that one, but it was enclosed. I think it was the wrong motor for that application. I don't think it was continuous. I got a buddy with an Axelson. He starts with a static converter, but it won't start it at the higher speeds. But they're good for a lot of things. They're good for saws and mills. The motor life will be affected. I've seen people use static converters to start their rotary phase converter as well. That's a pretty common use for them. Yeah, putting outside would be, I have that shed right behind there's only 6 foot between my shed and my shop. I've been meaning to move my air compressor out there. So yeah, if I get a phase converter, I might as well move it out there too. I don't have to listen to them. When will we see small town machine shop tees and hoodies? That'll be a while. But I do have over 500 subscribers now, which I think is unbelievably cool. Yeah, the shop's getting tight. Pretty soon I'll be weaving in and out of things to work in here. I am kind of offhand working on a channel logo, if you will. The logo I have now is of the old Tidal Lathe, which isn't here anymore. So I'm messing around with that a little bit. Again, I'm also looking at cameras. It's time to step it up, you know. Not just film it on my phone and lay it on the bench while it uploads. Maybe do a little bit of cleanup stuff on it. The biggest thing I don't like about recording on the phone is you can hear my breathing a lot, depending on how close I am. So. I think I've done well with the equipment that I have. As far as room goes too, I got some cylinder honing machines coming in here that I kind of don't know why I'm getting. I hope they provide for themselves. And I got 3 of them because the guy's like, "Oh, I'll sell you 1, but for $200 more, I'll sell you 2 more." And I was like, "Okay." But those I could not put in the shop because they don't have to be set up or anything. Again, I have a covered back porch. I'll put machines out there if I have to. That's true. I watch all my YouTube stuff on phones. Yeah, I don't own a computer. I am borrowing this one to do this. Because I listen to YouTube channels when I'm in my shop. So they link with my radio up there. Okay, so he makes the logos. Let me note that. What was that? Gun websites. Okay. Let's check him out. It does get cold, especially when it's when the wind picks up. It's always windy around where I am. It's in the low 20s right now. So we don't get a lot of snow. We get some snow. It's hot in summer, which I like. I have boring machines. Never seen any honing machines. Yeah, I'd never operated or been up close with a boring machine either. But price was right on them. And I want to get into more, like I said earlier, small engine rebuilds. And they're big enough I could do the cylinders on those. Yeah, for heat and AC, I have one of those self-install things that's heat as a heater and a cooler. The ones you buy and put in yourself. It was here when I moved in. It does a good job. This shop's okay insulated. Back at the old shop, I just had that pellet stove. As soon as you open the door, all the heat was gone. And this one takes it once it's up to temperature, it does a good job of maintaining. It's not the cheapest thing in the world to run, but I'd rather pay a little bit more electricity than shiver or sweat profusely in my shop. I don't know if it's a mini split. Yeah, that's what it is. It's got the louver thing on the bottom that moves up and down. It has remote control and all that. Been very, very happy with it. Yeah, it's hard the rebuilding parts, the pistons and everything are so expensive, and the crankshafts. If I quote someone a motor to rebuild, and the rebuild cost is over 60% of the motor, they'll either always say no or I will recommend. I mean, I want to do the work, but I don't like to spend people's money if I don't have to. But the prices on Honda or Kawasaki's aren't all that bad. You can get a cam and the pistons and stuff for not all that much. Those motors are expensive. Of course, it's not worth rebuilding quantum engines and Intech engines and stuff like that. You rebuild those engines and they'll throw the bump start thing, and second time they're fired up half the time. Garbage. Though, doing work for them, I love Intech engines. A dehumidifier, I've thought about them. I don't know how big of a space they'll do. My shop is, I need to measure it, 38 by 30 something. And I don't know how they would do in an area such as that. Yeah, I've worked on placed a lot of head gaskets on Intech motors and broken off compression releases. I've had mowers in here that had 12 hours with broken compression releases, which is terrible. And the Kohler motors, the bucket engines, are just as bad. They're all plastic. They crack, and the bolts come loose at the flywheel, which they always do. Again, if you do machine work, lawnmower repair isn't hard, and you can fill in a lot of gaps, especially with the gas nowadays. The first couple of weeks of mower repair season, if you have a ultrasonic cleaner, all you do is clean carbs for like 3 weeks straight for like $75 a pop. So. I owned a full-on lawn small engine repair business couple years back, but the city I lived in was pretty small, so. Yeah, they should with the current engines. They should completely go back to the design from 20, 30 years ago and make them halfway decent again. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having, I should probably just get a dehumidifier and just leave it running. They don't use hardly at all power. And it's not like it's going to hurt anything. And most of the machines will be in the back side of the shop anyway, so. Yes, work does come in all at once, and everyone wants their thing done immediately. That is the downside of that. And then another, I guess it's a downside to small engine repair, is you get a lot of stuff abandoned at your house. I don't know how many loads to the dump I took with push mowers and riding lawn mowers. Unbelievable what some people would just, okay, I don't want to fix it. It's yours now. Thank you. Thank you for your wore out dead mower. It's also why it is a good business idea if you do small engine repair to collect an hour's pay when you bring it in. That's a night and day change your business. If you can spend a lot of time diagnosing stuff on a push mower, and if it's over $40, people sometimes say, keep it. And you just wasted your time. I used to do that with machine work too. I did a couple of pretty big jobs that sat in my shop for a couple of years. But they needed it done that night. So. Yeah, it's a good way to gather a bunch of aluminum. That's for sure. I used to keep bins. I used to break the motors down. And I had this grand plan. I was going to break it all down, sell it on eBay, become a big eBay seller. But it takes time. It takes a lot of time. I much prefer the machining work anyway. I still like working on big commercial mowers. It's interesting. I've actually been looking for a radial arm drill. It helped me do those motor plates, those plate adapters for that guy. I get a lot. I don't need a huge one by any means. I don't need anyone like the size Brian Block has or A-Bomb in them. One size smaller suit me fine. I do those motor adapter plates on the Camelback drill press now, and it doesn't take too much time, but it'd be nice just to bolt it down and move the head and do everything. Yeah, I like to get the blast cabinet mobile so I can push it outside when I use it. The guy was telling me those kits. I forget the guy's name. He makes kits for the Harbor Freight blast cabinets. Mine's not a Harbor Freight. Mine's a commercial one. I guess those kits he makes are really economical and really good. Mine needs a new gun and the new hoses and everything. So I'll look into that when I finally need to use that for something. Again, I have the mounted. I have the blower fan and everything for it. Just need to. Yes, that is I believe that's the name of the place. I looked at a sandblaster. The guy bought the big lathe from. His has that gun setup on it, and I was looking at it. And he's been very happy with it. He has a 2-person blast cabinet. Don't know why you would need 2-person one, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of hope he wanted to sell it. But I just sell mine, and it'll be ready to go. I'll probably be on here for about another 10 or so minutes. I need to eat. So it's been super cool. A lot of people in and out. Well, 12, 15, when I started this video, I was wondering how long I'd be sitting by myself, not talking before someone joined. So, there's an idea. Bolt them together. Maybe cut the backs out of both of them and butt them up backwise. That way you can like arm wrestle on the blast cabinet, thumb wrestle. Yes, for sure. Yeah, and his did open from the front. Mine does too. It hinges. Uh, it does have a door on the side that's only about 12 inches by 14, but the whole top part will actually lift up. Which would be nice for getting big parts in there. I would probably reinforce the grate in mine before I put anything super heavy in it. It's from being sandblasted, it's pretty thin. Yeah, now it's one of those things I got it. It's like, oh, I can't wait to get this going. About a year ago, and I haven't needed it since. So. But I will get it going. That's part of the reason I took some weeks off this winter to do stuff. Knock out all these little projects. Seems like something always comes up. I had a benchtop one in my old shop for a while, and I actually used it quite a bit. One I did mostly for clean up stuff from mower repair, like blade adapters and stuff like that. But now that I've gone to mostly machining, I just haven't needed it. For doing some of my restoration jobs, that was kind of impetus for get it going. Excuse me. Gotta get that stuff from that guy next week. There'll be a lot of stuff to restore. No, I've never been to the Grizzly showroom, and I believe there's one in my. I think there's one in my state. I know they had two. One was one back east. I thought there was one in Washington. They haven't been sending me their book lately. I need to actually get on their website. I've ordered some cutting bits from them, some brazed on carbide. That's about it. I looked at online the South Bend Lays they sell. It's a lot of money. I mean, I'm sure they're good. But I don't know. I know a lot of people with lots of different machines, and I don't know anyone that has a South Bend from the last 10 years or so. The first lathe to get going will be the 14-inch Reed Prentice. It should be up on power this week. I'm going to go get the oil for the headstock tomorrow and temporary wire in the phase converter and just put the chain back on and mount that motor, and then it's ready to go. I got the gears in for the Hypromac. It'll be going very soon too. I was messing with the motor on it today and checking the belts and all that, see if I need anything else for it. I got to put it all back together. There's thankfully I have a parts diagram for it. I wish I had taken more pictures of the drive speed thing before I took it apart. So. Oh, really? Yeah, I've never looked at the newer South Bends. I don't know anyone that have. I know a couple of people with the bigger Grizzly gunsmithing lathes, and they like them. They were quite a bit cheaper for a similarly sized South Bend. Which again, I don't know how much you're paying for that nameplate on there. Probably more than $10. Yeah, I'm sure they just bought the name. What oil am I going to use in the headstock? Okay. I use the same oil in all my headstocks. There's a lot of debate that people say, oh, don't use this, don't use that. I've used the same oil in all my machines and never had a problem. I use a high quality oil to begin with. I use turbine oil. because it shows up new in barrels at auctions all the time. It's like $5 for a 5-gallon barrel of it. It's a lighter weight oil, so that's what I'm going to put in it. And that machine, what I typically do when I get a new machine is I'll run the oil for 10 hours and I'll change it anyway. Yeah, that's what I'm using the motor. It's the same weight as what they're calling for, so that's what I'm going to put in it. Same oil I put in the carriages and everything, and it's good quality, good lubricity. And I keep my ways and stuff pretty heavily oiled. Unless I'm doing cast iron, then I'll wipe it off and let the normal oil do its thing, or everything just becomes a big mess. I do a lot of cast iron turning too on pump housings, and control valves and such. I know there's scientists out there and make up all these oils for stuff, but again, a machine is made out of metal. Maybe slightly different kinds of metal, but metal. It'll be lubricated. It'll be fine. Yeah, and the main one I use it's just basically your normal oil. So the same one we use at work a lot. And a lot of they use it in a big turbine, turbine pumps. So it's not there are some pretty specifically scientified turbine lubes out there. But one I use is pretty basic. Just basically a lightweight machine oil. I mean, not like 3-in-1 oil, but you know what I mean. A buddy I know has had the same lathe for probably 15 years now. He uses 10, maybe 30 pins oil on it, and he changes his oil. There's never any gold at the bottom of it, so. Ooh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, like I said, there's some pretty specific formulas of turbine oil. I use it in a lot of different things. Stuff I use is pretty much off the shelf. And I know I've looked at the MSDS for it, and it's not anything more than they say about motor oil. Okay, we'll go for about another 5 minutes here. And I need to put some food in the belly. So, and I got some stuff I need to move in here. Yeah, good night. Thanks for joining the chat. Super appreciate it. To Built Overbought. Very cool. Again, every Sunday. I'll do one of these every Sunday at 5 o'clock. I'll have some more topics for the next one. We'll see how the week's videos go. I'll have some information for you guys on various websites and stuff. No, I'm sure there weren't. even my suppliers, they used to give you MSDS sheets with everything. Now you have to ask for them and wait for them to print them off. Thank you. I'm glad you have enjoyed the stream. It was awesome. A little change up. Again, I could have been doing these longer until I realized the 1,000 subscriber thing was just for mobile, which I don't know what, that doesn't make sense to me, but I'm sure they have their reasons. So I could have borrowed a laptop thingy and been doing this for a while now. And I'll definitely put more warning or more of an announcement ahead of time. Again, at like 1 o'clock this afternoon, I was going to figure out how to do this. So not that would have probably dramatically changed the amount of people that came in and viewed it, but yeah, I know people that have run hydraulic oil in them. I know someone who has ran a power steering fluid in his, or ATF in it. I wouldn't run ATF in the headstock, but there's a lot of suitable fluids. It's metal on metal. So the kids are interested. I don't run the lathes and stuff when they're in here. They love the press. They love crushing things in the 100-ton press. Well, who doesn't love crushing things in a big press? So when they come over, that's the first thing. What can we put in the press and crush flat? And no, nothing dangerous. We don't put wheel bearings in there to shatter them and watch the bearings go everywhere. They crush pop lids and stuff like that. Or pop cans. So I'm mindful of what's going on in the shop. So Royal Purple's a good oil. Expensive, but good. I'll probably go into the oils I use and stuff. They're more the turbine oil and the other oils I've used. I don't know if I've already done that. I don't remember. I know I've talked about it. 140 weight, non-detergent. Yeah. Does that machine have a pump in it? I don't know hardly anything about horizontal boring mills. I know I want one. Yeah, straight 30 weight would be, that's one of my machines. Well, that's what the LeBlanc called for, was 30 weight oil. Some of those older machines, they just say a good quality, X weight oil. Yep, the kids are fun. They're getting to the age where they're taking interest in stuff, so extra bonus there. Just, I'm very mindful of the machinery and the things that are sharp and things that are hot in here. So, and they grew up around it, so they're used to it too. My daughter has ran my wire feed welder. Haven't let him run a lathe yet. It's funny when you think about it, those older Craftsman, like 618s and stuff, boys used to get those as a Christmas present. And they were like 11 or 12, 13. Imagine what, giving kids a metal lathe nowadays. I would like to have had one of those way back then. The first lathe was like a 1902 Seneca Falls. It was only about this big. Had a 1/2-inch through hole through the chuck. Flat belt. Jarno taper. So none of their tools fitted. Well, we've been going for an hour and 46 minutes. We'll call it a wrap in an hour 50. Let's call that even hour 50. Yep, for sure. For sure. Again, super cool. You guys joining me. I was expecting 2. When I started this, I was expecting 2 or 3, and it would be like 45 minutes into it before that first person joined. Because I was like, I'm not going to start talking until someone is in here. So. Yeah, tomorrow there'll be a video on the stuff I got with the big lathe. I got some cool stuff with it. Oh, thanks for joining us. Yep, you too. What do you teach, if you don't mind me asking? Yeah, we'll get the doodads in here, and then I'll do a video of laying out all the parts for this. Start putting her back together. I got weld some casters through gantry crane. Got that job this week too. Oh, physics, cool. Didn't take much of that in my time schooling, in my very brief time at college. You're welcome, Rick. Thanks for joining. Thank all of you for joining and hitting the thumbs up thing that's there on my screen. And thank you everyone for watching the videos. It's super awesome. I put a video up now and it gets like 100 views, and that's just like the most amazing thing to me now. I didn't think I'd ever hit 500 subscribers either, so that's cool. There's a lot of people doing a lot more interesting things than me on YouTube, so super appreciate the likes and the views and all that, and the comments. And I don't know if he's still in the chat. The guy I'm doing the drum switch wiring for, I'll have that diagram for you tomorrow. So get you going, get your machine going. Okay, well, we're going to call this a wrap. Thanks again, everyone, for coming. We'll be here again next Sunday at 5. Tell all your friends. Oh, yep, there's Jeremy. I believe that's you. Yeah, your diagram will be ready tomorrow. And yeah, thanks again, everyone. This has been Adam from Small Town Machine Shop. Talk to you guys later.